July 9, 1908, Ithaca Chronicle and Democrat, Ithaca, Tompkins County, New York. The Porcelain Tower. The famous Porcelain Tower was one of the architectural boasts of Nanjing, China. It was reared in the 9th century before Christ by King Aeon and has been twice rebuilt, once in the 4th century of the Christian era and again in 1413 by Huang Li Tai. The tower originally attained a height of 850 feet. It consisted of 9 stories, surmounted by a great mast, bounded by a spiral cage, and crowned by an immense globe. 152 large bells were hung from the roofs of the 9 stories, which were ornamented also with 128 lamps. The cost of the original edifice was estimated at between $35 and $40 million. It was made of white brick, and the walls and roofs were brilliantly ornamented with porcelain. The Great Porcelain Tower was destroyed in 1853 during the Taiping occupation of the city. November 28, 1923, Aurora Daily Star, Aurora, Illinois. Flat buildings develop type. By Universal Service, London, November 27. Some medical authorities claim that it is possible to tell at a glance whether a man lives in a house or a flat. They say that a particular type of residence leaves a distinctive mark on the physique and personality of the occupier. Flat dwelling, according to their theories, develops the mental capacities, while life in a house leaves its mark on the physique. The flat dweller is saved various minor physical exertions. He becomes, in consequence, more reflective, philosophic, mentally alert, and bodily sluggish. The houseman is his physical superior, is less likely to contract flat feet and varicose veins, and superfluous adipose tissue, but he is more prone to mental dullness, to worrying about trifles, and to hasty judgments. The flat dweller has less fresh air, and the air he breathes, unless his flat is high up, is more stagnant and infected than that which circulates through a house. He is more free from drafts than his neighbor in a house, and it is easier for him to keep a level temperature inside his domicile. Taken all in all, the flat is a better winter and the house a better summer residence. January 3, 1925, The Gridley Herald, Gridley, Butte County, California. Health in Skyscrapers. The skyscraper as a health resort is urged by Dr. Edward P. Davis, who headed the Volunteer Medical Service Corps in wartime. It is obvious that in the upper strata of a city's atmosphere, pierced by the high buildings, there is more sunlight and the air is purer. Painstaking research has revealed that microbes seem to obey the zoning laws faithfully and diminish in numbers as they ascend toward the apex of one of the lofty pyramids of modern cities. One of the results of aviation will be the use of the rooftops, in a striking reversion to the Oriental custom that finds the whole cycle of existence lived at the summit of the house, says the Philadelphia Public Ledger. The soaring shaft to be reared by the University of Pittsburgh, or the 1,000-foot edifice to be erected in Rome, is typical of an age that spurns the ground and seeks the sky for practical reasons and not merely in obedience to a spiritual impulse. July 22, 1939, The Pueblo Indicator, Pueblo, Colorado. Clay skyscrapers rise in ancient Arabian city. First photographs of a 6th-century-old skyscraper city that towers above the surrounding desolate landscape of the Arabian desert have been brought to the United States by a party of German explorers headed by Hans Halfritz. With a population of 7,000, ancient Shibam is the oldest of several cities in southern Arabia, which are filled with apartment-like homes and look, outwardly, strikingly like a modern American metropolis. The buildings, made of clay, range from 10 to 14 stories in height. It is because there is probably no other place in the world where there is so little rainfall that the Arabian desert skyscraper cities still exist. Real rains come only once in decades, fortunately, for recently, when a cloudburst descended on one of the towns, 6 houses collapsed. Reversing the American custom, the people of Shibam go out daily to their suburban farms to obtain their living and commute at night to the congested tenements of their canyoned city. Shibam is situated 9 days' journey from the Arabian Sea in the Wadi Hadramaut, fertile valley that provides a livelihood for its inhabitants. The Wadis of Arabia are dry riverbeds with undercurrents of fresh water, which transform a few narrow valleys into a paradise of vegetation. Underground passages connect the fortress-like structure, which lacks even the most elemental comforts and conveniences. Camels, donkeys, and men are all employed to trample great piles of mud, to which great quantities of straw are added, as the first step in constructing a house in the Hadramaut. Then the mixture is formed into great flat bricks, which are left to bake in the sun. No framework is used when the towering structures are built. November 18, 1958, Ellensburg Daily Record, Ellensburg, Washington. Question: why doesn't Manhattan Island sink under the weight of its skyscrapers? Answer: Manhattan Island, which is the heart of New York City, is a relatively small island, only 31.2 square miles in area, yet it supports 38 buildings, more than 500 feet in height. These buildings, and some smaller ones, are called skyscrapers. The tallest building on Manhattan, and the tallest in the world, is the Empire State Building. It rises 102 stories and 1,250 feet into the air. An older, famous building is the 60-story Woolworth Building, completed in 1913. But Little Manhattan is in no danger of sinking because the island, far from floating on water, rests on very sturdy bedrock, and besides, when a skyscraper is built, the bedrock removed to make room for its foundation actually is heavier than the building itself. New York is not the only city in which skyscrapers are found. Cleveland has its 708-foot terminal tower. There are 10 buildings in Chicago more than 500 feet tall. Even a comparatively small city, like Hartford, Connecticut, has a structure 527 feet high. For you to do, what is the tallest building in your town or city, and see if you can find out what is the tallest building outside the United States. Morris Don Dum of Fate, Texas, wins $10 for this question. Send your question on a postcard to Violet Moore Higgins, AP News Features, in care of this newspaper. Tomorrow, what did the Hanging Gardens at Babylon hang from?